This is new for me. I've never had a handheld mic. How is everybody liking Supercon? Yeah? Have you made some new friends? Found some old ones? Learned some new things? Remembered some things you forgot? Yeah. Who else was out there, having their laptop open, looking around at people? Are you figuring out the badge thing? Yeah? It's really hard to concentrate on code when there's such intoxicatingly interesting people all around us, don't you think? Yeah. And isn't this the best conference ever? Yeah? Yeah? Where else can I wear this outfit, right? Yeah. Can you see how much I ate? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so I'm here to talk to you about packaging. Who else has ventured into the packaging world? 1, 2, 3, couple? Okay. I'm excited to talk to you later. I'm Christina. I am the CEO of Detour. I invented the Cyrcle phone. I'm also an electrical engineer. My nirvana is laying out schematics and board layouts and getting really tons of components in a very, very small space and having them work very efficiently. If I can sit at my desk all day and just be doing layout, that's a beautiful day for me. Unfortunately, I've been doing packaging. So, and Ali said in my intro, I have done some work for other companies as well. One was a GNSS, very low-powered design for tracking vehicle fleets. And that was a chip-down design, and I would love to do more of that. That was really exciting. And then for another company, I did some research on, in 2021, it became actually more economically feasible to make lithium batteries out of recycled lithium instead of out of lithium ore. Can everybody applaud? That's just like fantastic. So unfortunately, the company said too early for them yet, but they just announced at CES in January that they're going to do it. So yes, yeah, really excited about that. So that's the exciting part. The Cyrcle phone. So I just have a couple slides to talk about that because people always ask why. So our latest one, this is our second version. It's LTE 4G. It solves the mobile phone monotony that you're all suffering under, I can tell. But there's a lot of science behind it. It makes your photos, images, and videos look better. So if you are presented with a lot of photos and they're cropped in various shapes, triangles, rectangles, hexagons, your eye is actually drawn to the image that's cropped in the Cyrcle. And the Cyrcle is a better kind of vehicle for absorbing information, and most of our information nowadays is pictorial. So yeah, it's easier on the eyes. How many people recognize this person? Who is this? Alex Glow. So I may or may not have been a Hackster ambassador for about 5 years or something up in Seattle. So that's how I got to know Alex Glow and her wonderfulness. So thank you, Alex, for letting me use your picture. Okay, everybody asked, first question, will my rectangular apps work on this round display? And yes, we actually use freeform mode, so it's more like a computer desktop where you can change the size and shape of your applications and even access the icons behind it. So it's actually more sophisticated. We have tons of different features than what you expect on a smartphone on the Cyrcle phone. The dual SIM, the 13 megapixel selfie camera, which when we originally designed, nobody had, or few smartphones had. We have a dual USB port, so you don't have to search for a particular cable. You can do micro B, you can do Type-C, it doesn't matter. NFC, of course, and we also have a temperature sensor right next to the selfie camera, so you can find out what your temperature is before you go into work. I added that during COVID, so that was really convenient. But the feature that gets emphasized the most every time we get a write-up, not even the round display, but it's the fact that we have dual audio jacks. So I put those on because we did a lot of research after our first phone, and millennials in particular were really sad that everybody was face down in their phone and not connecting to the person sitting right next to them. And also, Gen Z was buying up a lot of headphone jack splitters at the time to share their videos and audio with the person sitting next to them. So I thought, let's just build it into the phone. This is our 2G phone that we did before that. Occasionally, I teach other people how to put together phones. I've taught over 300 people how to put together their own phones. We beat out the Fairphone for being the most eco-friendly phone on the planet. Not only is our phone user repairable and ships with a second display and accessories, but it has a biodegradable enclosure as well. And we received an award at CES in 2023 last year for that. And here's me picking it up. Thank you. So those are all, that's the sizzle reel, right? This is the pain reel. So I'll talk a little bit about various packaging options available out there, and kind of the pros and cons of some of them, and it may help you to decide which packaging option is right for you. So the goals of interior packaging, and this is an interesting phrase that I learned. Who else knows the word dunnage? Yeah, nice. So for shipping containers to be shipped overseas, they need some protection inside the containers, and that's called dunnage. It's the word for interior packaging. Protects against dust, moisture, shock or vibration, damage, shifting, and getting mixed together. So like if you have accessories in your product. So for those of you in the audience, can you tell me some packaging options that you're familiar with so far? Go ahead and raise your hand so I can like call on you and just shout. Kathleen. Catherine, sorry.
Like plastic bagging.
Plastic bagging, excellent. Joshua. Thermoform, excellent. Molded pulp, yeah, my favorite. Oh, yes, the mycelial replacement for styrofoam. Yeah, that's a really good one. Any others? Yes. Cardboard origami, like up here. Yeah. I used a lot of Midjourney images for this to like imagine a world where there would be like really creative packaging. And you all hit most of them. So things that we considered were tissue paper, plastic bags, peanuts, cut foam, bubble wrap. But these all have advantages and disadvantages. And it was really hard to ship our phone in bubble wrap after getting an award for being the most eco-friendly phone on the planet. So the status quo for smartphones, at least, is molded and or folded cardboard. And so here are kind of the designs out there for the top smartphones today. But can you do molded cardboard if you're shipping, let's see, in the thousands? And you can see here that the minimum order, these are from just some examples from Alibaba. You have to order 5,000, and that doesn't include the design charge. So not only are you wasting, these thousands of units, but you also have to pay for the design charge on top of that charge. So it seems really inexpensive if you're mass producing, but for smaller runs, what can you do? So when I looked into this, can we make handmade molded cardboard? And XYZ Aiden has a really good example of this online. He's his example on Instructables is probably the most used and referenced. But unfortunately, not only do you have to design the product and then design the packaging that goes in, but you also have to design the packaging molds. And it's an extra step that I didn't want to go through. So in this day and age, we can create interesting PCBs. And again, I use Midjourney for this. If you want to see actual color PCBs that are awesome, go to Joseph's talk this afternoon. So he's talking about that. But if we can imagine dynamic PCBs, I just have to pause for a minute. Isn't this incredible? I was just like, wow. I love using Midjourney just to like show me what I hadn't even thought of. So if we can imagine dynamic PCBs and 3D print dynamic designs, why can't packaging designs be more dynamic? So I really thought that it would be cool to have dynamic packaging as well as a dynamic enclosure. So right now the current manufacturing flow is you get the assembled PCB, you stick it in an enclosure, and then you put packaging around it in the final assembly house. But wouldn't it be nice if both the enclosure and packaging were made out of the same material? And even better, what if that material was either recycled and or biodegradable? So some of the materials that we looked into for the phone specifically enclosure were recycled TPU from ski boots, recycled nylon from Audi dashboards. Isn't that cool? Just to say your phone is like made from, this was from a, Audi dashboard. I'm cool, this is recycled. Yeah, I thought that was really cool until I tried to print from it and I couldn't get the smell out of the house, so. Biodegradable corn and rice-based PLA. So that's what we ended up going with for the enclosure. And then I did look into cellulose-based packaging, but when you're shipping overseas and there's a chance that it'll arrive at someone's doorstep and get wet, then you start worrying about, I don't want it stuck all over the phone, kind of thing. But where do you strike that balance? So I decided to postpone that dilemma and make sure that everything arrives in one piece and not melted. In addition, it was difficult to find packaging to fit our non-rectangular product. So our product, as it stands right now, is not perfectly rectangular. It's not perfectly circular. It's actually an oval to get the cameras, space for the cameras and the speakers at the top and the bottom. So I did have a lot of leftover TPU from testing. So the recycled TPU from the ski boots, we wanted to use for the buttons originally to make them nice and soft, but they were actually too soft. So it didn't work for that, but it does work for packaging, nice and soft. So, and then I also wanted it to demonstrate how to use the device since our device is unusually shaped. People are a little thrown off by it and they don't realize that, yeah, you can charge it with a USB Type-C cable. So, and that actually came from, this is an early prototype of the phone that we sent to several units to China for Google Mobile Services testing so that we could have the Google Play Store on our phone. We have Android 10 on it. And the testers really appreciated this image because they knew instantly where everything went and how it all kind of fit together. So they were used to testing rectangular smartphones, and this was super useful. So how many people use CAD software to design anything? Raise your hand. Okay, great. Okay, how many people use Fusion 360? Raise their hand. Great. How many people use AutoCAD? Anybody? Oh, okay. Okay, what other software programs do you use? FreeCAD, thank you. Is that for 3D? Shaper 3D, okay. Onshape, Autodesk Inventor, yeah. Did you? Use Fusion, okay. Okay, yeah. So what I didn't know when I went into this venture is that these programs are not used to design packaging. So the problem is, and let me share with you, here are the two that are used to design packaging. So RGS CAD and Case Make. And why this is important is because if you go into Fusion 360 and you want to design, here's my device, and then the packaging needs to be, a couple millimeters bigger than that, just for tolerance, you can't just upsize your design. You have to convert it to a mesh body and go through all these steps, and then you can increase the mesh body and then use it to cut the mold. And it's this huge process. So if I missed anything and anybody has an easier way, please tell me afterwards, because I spent lots of time trying to learn this. And then after you do all those steps and your product changes, you have to do them all again. So it was really, really painful. But I survived. I'm still here. I'm still breathing. And I wanted to show you what I came up with. So to solve all these problems, hopefully this works. Where's my mouse? So I designed a 6-layer system for our packaging. The top layer is to protect the display. The secondary layer, after you lift it off, you get to see how the product interacts with all the accessories. The third layer I'll go into later. This is just kind of a base to keep all the cables in. All of our customers received a secondary display so that if you didn't like white, you could have a different color, change it out. And then they all received another display as well with extra buttons and extra screws and a screwdriver. So, yep. Okay. I had rough starts. So I learned very quickly that I wanted to make this cushy, we grew up with styrofoam, right? And it's this thick material and you just cut into it. But when you 3D print that, it wastes a lot of time. And it also curls on the edges and doesn't do too well with the soft TPU. So I learned to make these very thin sheets with a ridge around the edge. And this became very important later. I did want to actually say one note. So I ended up using, originally I started using models of headphone jacks and USB cable heads that other people had designed and put those in and used and upsized them and used them to cut the mold. But that ended up being a huge waste of time. And I had to go back and just break down and actually mold or design what we actually had, the accessories that we actually had. One workaround that I saw some other engineers use, and I highly recommend investigating if you do decide to do this. So I really wanted the mold to wrap around the accessory so it would hold it tight. But another way to do it is just have a, the outline of the accessory. So here we have the outline of the barrel jack, and just have it go deep into the mold, straight down. It doesn't wrap around the accessory, so you do need a lid so that when it bounces up, it'll still be safe. But it's a shortcut, and it saves a ton of time. Probably takes about 5% of the time that I took. This is the display layer. I was really lucky. First draft stayed all the way to the end. This is the extra enclosure layer. So I thought that these nubs on the sides and the corners would hold everything. And these light impressions really did not help the extra enclosures from rotating. So I had to change it to the one on the right. And I had to move the screwdriver out of the accessories layer. So I ended up putting it in between the extra enclosure. This is what it looks like. In the accessories layer, I had a really hard time with those frickin' earbuds. And I worked on that a lot. This is the cable storage layer beneath. First couple units I shipped, I just taped it to the bottom, but I didn't think that that looked very good. And so, and we did have some issues, and so we had to pause shipping. This is the final. Well, mostly final. It's in yellow. This is red. But so you can see I put the labels here, and the earbuds are kind of almost working. You can see I finally just put a little tag that goes into the earbuds to keep them from rotating. Okay, this is the layer behind the accessories layer. I ended up just having to attach it, but now it has cable stays. And then if our accessories, if the cable length changes, then there's extra stays there to accommodate that. Storage layer was really important because with the circle at the top, it helps the phone from rotating. And then the top protective layer, I'm sorry, this is the only image I have, and has stringing in it, but with the soft TPU, I did have a lot of stringing, but it worked. The top protective layer, I wanted bowling ball holes so that you just instinctively know to pull off the top layer. And this makes more sense when you see the UBI. So let's see, hopefully this will play. You gonna play? Nope. Yep. Nope. Oh, that's it. It says it's playing. You saw the status bar, right? Okay, wasn't just me. Oh, it's so sad when the climax doesn't come. Okay. All right. Too bad. Okay, more challenges. So the soft TPU was really a pain. Here's an example. So on most of the 3D printers, I would have warping on the edges. I put a raft around it. That helped a lot, except for the older filament. In the older filament, I ended up attaching a dehydrator directly to the machine. So it would just print right out of the dehydrator. That fixed a lot of the problems. So what 3D printers do y'all use these days? Who uses the bamboo? Yeah? Which one do you have? X1C? Who has the other? What is it called? A4? A1 Mini. Prusa. All right. Creality. MakerBot. Voron. Oh, I gotta hear about that. I'm gonna come see you later. All right. Anybody? Any others? Flashforge. Yeah. Okay. All righty. So I have a couple 3D printers. Let's just say a couple. And the TPU was too soft to print on the bamboo X1C. So you can print TPU on the X1C through the back, but it has to be stiff TPU. It can't be soft recycled TPU. So yeah, I had an 80% failure rate on the bamboo. Prusa, the prints were always more, it didn't like TPU either. But it had different problems, so the first two layers were always a bit squiggly and didn't go well. And I wasn't able to like get the fan at a perfect setting to be able to make that better. So all my prints had to be done on the slow Creality CR6 SE or the Ender 3. And one of the most interesting challenges was improving the smile. So I really wanted to share the joy of having 2 headphone jacks and being able to share that music with your friends and not make this look as scary as it does on the left. So yeah. So lessons learned, never ever do this again. Go back to electronics. And I should have just shipped in bubble wrap. So what I didn't realize is that bubble wrap is actually, most bubble wrap is made from number 4 plastic, and frequently you can recycle. It's not well known. Nobody knows this. I didn't know it. I recycle my plastic bags all the time at the grocery store, but yeah, I didn't realize I could do the bubble wrap. So, but you do have to be careful if you're purchasing bubble wrap. Some of it is made from nylon, so you have to be careful which one you have. The lighter stuff is the number 4 recyclable ones. So if you want to learn more about my mistakes in life, please check me out on LinkedIn. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn. That's the best way to get a hold of me if you don't have my contact information. I'm a little behind on those messages, but that's a good place. Any questions? Yes. So SLA is kind of messy and 5 times the price. So I decided not to do that. I actually diverted away from that, doing the enclosures, like from the get-go. But it does do the more delicate stuff. So, as you know, Josh. Yes. So we use corn-based PLA for the biodegradable enclosure for the phone, and then the squishy TPU, recycled TPU for the packaging. No, we haven't not yet. That's a good question. Yeah, thank you.
So if you had done with the bubble wrap, how would you have done all the accessories and everything? Because that would have been a lot of loose parts. What would you have done to address that?
So, dirty little secret, all the accessories came in their own plastic bags. Yeah. So, it would have been great just to throw those in the box, and then people could have gotten the phones in like a day. So, it would have saved time, saved tons of my time. Yeah. Yes. That's a really good question. I think I even tried to look that up. So this TPU is really interesting. It's made by a professor in like Sweden, or like the idea I think was created by him. He's the one who sells it. He sells it out of the college. So the billing is a little convoluted too. Every time we need to order more, but they have a separate unit with disabled individuals who recycle the ski boots. And so I did look for the shore rating and a couple of times, but I may have missed it.
Probably softer than 90.
Yes, absolutely. I was thinking 70, but I don't know. Yeah. Yes.
I have 2 questions. First
Yeah.
question was, did you consider laser cut corrugated cardboard stacked up at all?
Yes, I did not, but I know what you're talking about. And I think because I didn't have a laser cutter in my shop at that time, that wasn't a consideration, but that would have been brilliant. Can you come work for me like next time? Okay.
Next question was, like, you made a comment at one point about how the tape didn't look professional enough.
Yes.
And, like, I'm kind of imagining you laser cut a piece of cardboard where you're laser cutting the labels of things and then scotch tape the bags
Yes.
to the spots.
Ah,
That both saves time, assembly, cost, all of it.
hired. Hired. I want to go back to electronics, please. Come take care of this. Yes, yes.
Wanted to add something along that line of laser cutting cardboard. So I use that in packaging, so I can prototype that. But I made thousands of these like cut pieces in China for $100. So the trays,
Yes.
but they tried it with stamp cutting. So you just prototype the laser cutting, and then you fold it in different ways. That part is a little bit challenging because then you need to come up with different ways to fold things.
Yes.
But once you consolidate that, it's just stamped in China. It's very cheap. Like you can make 1,000 trays for $100.
1,000? Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. I'm coming to find you afterwards. But I'm never doing this again. Ever. Yes.
How long did it take to make a full set of packaging with printing on the part?
I don't want to talk about it. Okay. Yes. I'll tell you later.
Had a cardboard box that was custom printed.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm considering doing this, and I want to know, and all the websites say is very easy. Is it very easy?
It's super easy. No, super easy. What this is U printing. The company's called with the U, big U printing. Yeah, .com. And they actually do the inserts as well. But you have to send them your product, and our product's like several $1,000s if they lose it. So we would need it back. Yeah. Foam, cup foam. So like, DigiKey has those that brown paper that's has that mesh. Yes, and I really wanted to ship with that, and it didn't happen because it's super dusty. I would have to put the phone in a plastic bag and then put it in that. Um, and I thought, wow, that's really complicated at the time, and do it. Yeah, that's that's the way to do it. Okay, I think we're at time. So unless we have any other questions, thank you so much for coming to my talk. I really appreciate it. Thanks.